Find the domain of a logarithmic function. This is actually a lot easier than you might think. I have a couple of problems. This one might be require a little bit more thinking, but basically when you're finding the domain of a logarithm, you just have to understand that you can only take the log of a positive number. So basically what you do is you set the argument greater than 0 and solve. This is the argument right here. It's what's inside the log. That has to be positive. So we just take x minus 2, set it greater than 0 to make it positive, and then we solve it. We're going to add 2 to both sides of the inequality, and we get x is greater than 2. Now, to write this in interval notation, you're going to just say that x starts at 2, but not including 2, and goes up to infinity. All right, in the next one, same thing. You just set the argument, which is what's inside the log function, greater than 0. I'm going to add 3 to both sides, and I get that 5x is greater than 3. Divide both sides by 5, and I get that x is greater than 3/5. So putting that in interval notation, I get 3/5 to infinity. All right, here, be careful. You same thing. You just set what's inside greater than 0, and then you subtract 1 from both sides, and you get negative x is greater than 0, and then you divide both sides by -1. But in doing so, you've got to, whenever you are solving an inequality, remember that if you're divide or multiply by a negative number, you've got to flip the inequality. So this now is going to become less than. X is less than 0. And so it's from minus infinity to 0, like that. Finally, we have a quadratic argument. So solving this x squared is greater than 0 requires some different techniques. So you're going to use the number line. And first of all, x cannot equal 0. So we're going to put a hole in our number line at 0. And then you realize, well, x could be negative because when you square a negative number, it's positive, right? So x can be negative. All right, so I'm going to include that. And it can also, of course, be positive. If I take 2 squared, I'm going to get something greater than 0. So basically, the domain is all real numbers except 0. So it's going to be, for this last one, minus infinity to 0 and 0 to infinity. These two intervals. We're just leaving out the 0.